Welcome to the Natural View. I'm Maggie Jacqua. I'm the content director of Whole Foods Magazine, and I'm here with Todd Polly, my co-host from 24 Stories Marketing. Hi, Todd.
Hi, Maggie. How are you today?
I'm good, Todd. And today we have two special guests from Nutrileads. We have Dr. Joana Carneiro-Wakefield. She is the CEO of Nutrileads, and Sue Mckay. She's Nutrition and Health Manager. It's wonderful to have you both here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hello.
All right. So today we're going to dive into one of the hottest topics out there. Todd and I love learning about this all the time because it's constantly evolving, the microbiome market. It just keeps leveling up. There's constantly new research. I know at Whole Foods Magazine, we've reported a lot in the past year about research that Nutrileads has brought to the table. The media is covering this more. Consumers are becoming more and more aware. So attention just keeps building on this market. And sales are climbing. I think we just reported in our August issue projections of $1.7 billion by 2029. So just huge market potential there. So let's dive in. We're going to talk about this market, but let's just start at the beginning. Sue, maybe you can kick us off with just an overview of the gut microbiome, why it's so key to health, and just the key, set the stage for what we're talking about here.
Thank you. Well, the gut microbiome really is one of the most exciting fields in health research today. And we recently found a publication where they mentioned that more than 150,000 publications with the word microbiome have been published since the word was coined in 2001. So that really shows how hot it is. And there's a lot of data showing that the microbiome really influences almost every aspect of health. So thinking of not just your gut health, but your immune health, your metabolic health is really important, and that field is being researched in depth now. The gut microbiome is located in your gastrointestinal tract, and it's home to a complex network of thousands of microbial species. So there are trillions of microbial cells in there and lots of different genes that can influence virtually every system in your body. And we've seen as well with a lot of the research that there's a lot of insights coming out now about dietary interventions with prebiotics, but also with probiotics and postbiotics. And they will have the potential to modulate the gut microbiome, and that way they can influence our overall health.
That's great. And, one of the things that has happened because there's been so much research that have come out, I think, is sometimes, especially from a consumer standpoint, there can be information overload in the sense you hear about microbiome, you hear about, as you just mentioned, Sue, postbiotics, probiotics, prebiotics. And I think we want to zero in and just pause for a minute and give kind of the 101 on, we're talking about prebiotics. Can you tell us exactly what prebiotics are and how they affect or support gut health?
Well, a prebiotic, there is an official explanation of what a prebiotic is from the International Scientific Association for Probiotics and Prebiotics. And they say that it's a substrate that can be selectively utilized by host microorganisms and thereby confer a host benefit or a health benefit. But basically what that means is that prebiotics are the food for the living microbes in your gut.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of, Todd, that brings up the point. Consumer awareness is growing. We know they kind of get okay, gut health, it's important. And we've seen, through recent years that they're focusing on that more now. But Joana, maybe you could talk us through, how much do they really understand? It does get very technical. There's constantly more science. Where are consumers and kind of the spectrum of microbiome, prebiotics, beyond just gut health is good?
Yes, I think that consumer understanding is still challenging, but I think it's increasing. At least people are more and more aware on the connections of your microbiome towards different health benefits. And of course, there is much more offering in the market. But as a consumer myself, a way I found to understand also all the different offering is that a prebiotic then is the food to your microorganism that you have in the gut, right? Like Sue explained. A probiotic is when you want to add more of these microorganisms. So you take a probiotic, because you take living bacteria to our gut to replace or to add on. And a postbiotic, which is the I think the most recent biotic that we are having in the market, and consumers are going to start seeing it more in the market, it's basically the beneficial little chemicals that they produce when they are being fed properly. And that is a postbiotic. So it's a post effect of the microbiome digestion. So as a consumer, I understand also very well the confusion, because the offering is super big. The scientific, the science on the microbiome is still also in the frontier, is really still evolving. So more and more we know more and more about the microbiome. There is new data and new findings. So it's a very exciting time. But I think that the consumers in the last couple of years, maybe past 10 years, they are more and more aware. And that is also shown by statistics, right? That nowadays, I think nearly 70% around of the consumers are claim they are interested in products that promote digestive health. Even if they are not suffering from current really health problems, but we all have, sometimes a bloated gut, and we are trying to understand how can we navigate through that. And so that also increases the interest of consumers. And of course, gut health, like you said before, it's also is a rapidly increasing, growing market. So they are projecting also that the combined sales of prebiotics and probiotics are expected to exceed 100 billion by 2030 globally. So that also shows that the interest and the recognition by the consumers on the benefits of digestive health products, basically.
And so this topic isn't going anywhere, and it's going to continue to grow both in awareness and research, which is great. Let's shift a little bit now and talk about Nutrileads. If we could talk about, the origins of the company a bit, and also, the discovery of Benicaros and how that's led to some of these new developments. Sue, if you want to take that one.
Yeah, sure. It started more than a decade ago when our founder, Ruud Albers, who was leading a research group, looking for ingredients that could offer immune benefits. And after researching lots of scientific publications, they found that the most promising ingredient was ginseng. And that was the one with the strongest evidence. But it's also an ingredient that really wasn't very feasible for taking commercially forward. There were all sorts of regulatory hurdles. It's a root that you can harvest once every 5 years. And there are cost issues if you're thinking of trying to get that into a product. So what Ruud and his team then did was to look and see what is the active or the immunoactive component within the ginseng. And there they discovered rhamnogalacturonnan-1, which is why we use the abbreviation RG1. And that's the main immune modulatory part of the extract. And then the next discovery was really that this is part of pectin. And pectin is in the cell walls of all plants that we know of. So after that realization that we could potentially get RG1 from any crop, the group then researched to see which crop would be the best one, would be most sustainably sourced, cost effective. And the discovery there was that that could also be found in carrot. So after patenting the technology for the extraction of RG1, the team really focused on using carrot as the source. And we did a really good study showing the immunomodulatory effects, but also found the unique properties of RG1 from carrot as being a precision prebiotic.
It's fascinating to hear the beginning of such a novel ingredient, how it started. So then what happens next? So now you've got to get this to market. You have to commercialize it. Joanna, can you kind of talk through? I'm not going to try to say that. I'll say RG1, right? I'm not going to try to say the whole thing. So what happens next?
Yes. So what happens next is we build this body of evidence, preclinical, clinical studies, right, to prove and to better understand how this CRG1 is impacting the body and the microbiome and which health benefits arise from it. So and that takes time and a lot of investment. So with that, we could also understand what is unique about this molecule and which value this ingredient could bring then to the market, to the consumer, right? So that's, you start to build your value proposition, which is on the health benefits, but also Benicaros has a very small daily serving size compared to other prebiotics, etc. Low gas production. So we build that value proposition. That's the next step. Of course, we also need to secure scale-up capabilities because we upcycle our ingredient from carrot pomace. Carrot pomace is a side stream from the juicing process. So we also needed to make sure that everything was scalable, quality, and sustainability in terms of the supply chain of our ingredient. That's also part of the commercialization step. And then we also started to find out, okay, what are the right markets? So what are the markets that are growing and why they are growing, and figuring out what are the critical success factors, because every market, they have a different model for the license to sell or to claim in those countries. For example, because we cannot just sell it right away, we need to go through a series of approvals, regulatory checks, etc. So that also is part of the commercialization step. And of course, after that, we are a small company. So we also try to find the right partners to represent Nutrileads and the ingredient in those markets, in distributors or other ingredient processors that can, ingredient sales companies that can help us commercialize from a more operational point of view our ingredient and bring it to the market.
Yeah, I love the fact that you're concentrating on sustainability from a commercialization standpoint. This is a product that's been upscaled and you're building for the long term as far as supply goes. That's so important, as we all know in our industry. And I understand that Benicaros is considered a precision prebiotic, and I'm wondering what the difference is there. Sue, can you explain a little bit about a precision prebiotic versus what would you coin it? A normal prebiotic? You can differentiate for me if you'd like.
Now we've started comparing ourselves to either standard prebiotics or classical prebiotics. But
Classical.
If you think of our gut microbiome containing those trillions of microorganisms, and it's very different between each person. We all have our own unique microbiome. You can imagine it as a sort of fingerprint. And what was seen was that lots of intervention studies done with classical prebiotics often led to inconsistent results. So an intervention in one group of people with a certain prebiotic could give a certain effect, but it would be a slightly different effect in a slightly different population. And this inconsistency, we thought that could be to do with the differences in our microbiome, that individual or unique microbiota that we have. Because the fermentation process is really influenced by the microbes that you have and the enzyme capabilities that they have to be able to break down fibers. But it seems that it's also really important to consider the structure of the prebiotic fiber, because that also determines which microbiota, which bugs can break down the fiber. And if you think of a simple fiber like FOS or inulin that's just built up from a chain of single fructose sugar molecules, then it's very simple and easy for all of the bugs, all of the beneficial bugs in the gut to be able to ferment that prebiotic. And that leads to inconsistent or variable responses. And what you see with the product, or with our ingredient Benicaros, which has a very complex molecular structure, that you need to have a network of microbes doing the fermentation. So you can imagine one group of microbes already nibbling and chopping off the branches, the side chains, and then exposing different parts of the fiber for other bits of the microbiota to reach. And the interesting thing is that the keystone species in these groups within this network, they are present in everybody. So it doesn't matter that we all have individual microbiomes. Everybody seems to be able to ferment and get the consistent responses from the precision prebiotic. So it's this precision and the consistent responses that we feel really substantiate the name of precision prebiotic.
Yeah, I mean that's we hear about greenwashing and there's some science washing, and but you guys really have the science to back this. This is kind of an emerging new concept. We've got people out in our audience who want to know the science. Can you delve a little deeper into what you guys have done to determine all of this?
Yeah, well, it's also based on work done by Professor Bruce Hammaker from the States, where he proposed that it's the structural complexity of different fibers that have an impact. So if a fiber has a complex structure like Benicaros, in his classification system, it's a high specificity fiber. And the very simple structures like inulin or phos, for example, are low specificity fibers. So building on those concepts, we performed studies using the Cypher technology from Cryptobiotics in Belgium, but also from the Shine technology from ProDigest in Belgium, where we investigated, we used fecal samples from up to 24 human donors. And we did those fermentation experiments, and we followed the fermentation in time. And we looked at the changes in the microbiota composition, but also the changes in the capabilities to produce short-chain fatty acids, for example. And there, when we compared our high specificity fiber with an exceedingly high specificity fiber, we used xanthan as a model, and we included inulin as a low specificity fiber. In those ex vivo studies, we found consistent responses in the microbiota composition changes, but also in the function, so in the production of short-chain fatty acids. And a really interesting finding there again was that the fermentation of Benicaros led to 40% less gas production than in the inulin case. So there are even additional benefits for this fiber. And of course, the work is published, so it's peer-reviewed publications that people can dive into if they're interested.
So in your research, can you tell me how you found some immune benefit in Benicaros? How does it support immune health?
Well, what we did there was a study using, we asked volunteers to take Benicaros for 8 weeks, and then they added it as a powder to their breakfast every day. And then we followed them in time. So before they started taking Benicaros, we took a fecal sample, we took a blood sample. And then after 8 weeks, we took another fecal sample, we took another blood sample. And then we infected all of these volunteers with a very mild airway infection. And we did that because we think that the best way to show that an ingredient does have an immune benefit is to challenge the system and then to see what happens when the system is challenged. So after the rhinovirus infection, we asked all of the volunteers to fill in validated questionnaires for 13 days. We also took samples at different time points from their nose so that we could measure the immune cells that were coming to the area of infection. We could also measure their signaling molecules, for example. And we asked questions about quality of life. And what we found in this study was that the people in the Benicaros group, they showed that Benicaros had prebiotic effects. So we saw an increase in beneficial bifidobacteria in the fecal samples before they were infected with the rhinovirus. And then after the infection with rhinovirus, we saw that the people in the Benicaros group, they had an accelerated innate immune response. So the innate immune system is the system that is first triggered when a virus enters your body. And in the Benicaros group, everything that we measured related to the innate immune system was faster. So the people, they experienced less severe symptoms. Their cold had a shorter duration, so they recovered faster. but they also had it also had a positive impact on their quality of life. So during the cold, you feel snotty and tired, you've got a headache and feel miserable. But the people taking Benicaros, their scores were much lower. They still had the symptoms, but their scores were much lower, and they passed much quicker than in the group in the control group. So we found really clear responses to Benicaros in this really solid immune challenge model.
Yeah, that is solid. I mean, you have this great research, just the science supporting Benicaros as a precision probiotic, immune-enhancing properties. We love getting this out here before cold and flu season. Joanna, can you just talk to us, Joanna, about the significance? Like, what are the downstream kind of benefits of all of this science that you have, and how consumers can benefit from all this? And what are you seeing in the consumer realm there?
So from some consumer research that FMCG Gurus is a company that does consumer research, they found that 80% of the consumers globally, of course they have some correspondents, say that the top 3 claims that they most want to see on a label, on something they buy, are scientific. The first one is actually scientific, validated, clinical, proven results. So consumers really value the science. They cannot judge the quality of the science, but they trust companies to assess the science of the ingredients they buy to put on their products, right? So it's really confirmed that this scientifically validation approach and high quality that Nutrileads and Benicaros follows, it's really what consumers want to see, because they want to trust that what they are buying is going to have the effect desired by them. Another aspect is multifunctional benefits, and I also think that Benicaros also ticks a little bit the box there, because it's not only immune health, but it's also gut health. So there is several axes on health axis that Benicaros touches upon. And the third claim is that something that helps them, consumers, to lead a healthy lifestyle. They are looking for overall health. So as a functional ingredient, we think that Benicaros meets all these consumer criteria. So in that sense, Benicaros offers all these food, beverage, and dietary supplement manufacturers with a strong opportunity for product innovation and to bring to consumers what they need and what they are requesting from them.
Yeah, great. And, it sounds like it doesn't stop there, that there's more to come for Nutrileads. I'm wondering if, Joanna, you can dive in just a bit into both the business side of Nutrileads and also the science research side. What can we expect here in the next months, years to come from you?
Yes. So I think that on the business side, we are currently expanding our commercialization into more markets, right? We started with the US, then we went also to some Asian countries, and this year we started also in Europe. But we want to expand our market penetration. We want to bring Benicaros as much as possible globally, because we see the benefits and we think that consumers would benefit from it. So we need to ensure there is more market launches to bring Benicaros closer to those consumers. In terms of research and science, we are now, so Sue is leading the expansion, continue the research and on the benefits on digestive health, because our first work was very focused on immune health. We are now we have already, of course, some really good data also from digestive health, but we plan to expand that further with everything that starts from basically the gut microbiome and which health benefits can the gut microbiome, if you can tap into that, bring to the consumer. For example, areas like the gut-brain axis, women's health, it's a big topic, right? So we are also now only in the frontiers of understanding or helping women with menopausal symptoms, and healthy aging. So we are continue our research in these topics and to see, okay, which benefits in these areas can our ingredient bring as well.
So I had to take a minute to brag for you and let you brag, because you have not done this, but so you hit on so many key selling points that, you know, make it stand out for the consumers, make it stand out from the crowd. I mean, we know this is a huge market. There's a lot of innovation here, but you guys are definitely at the forefront there. We've got plant-based, we've got upcycled, we've got convenient applications to make it easier for the consumer, multiple benefits, multitasking ingredients, of course, immune support. I mean, women's health, I know we've identified this at Whole Foods Magazine as a huge potential market really for growth. But this has been recognized by you guys. So you just won a major award that you didn't mention. So go ahead and brag. Ingredient of the Year. Tell us about the award you guys got.
Yeah, we got an award, the Nutri Ingredients USA award, and it was on the gut health. So so it was our first award. We won awards before, and were mainly on immune health. But then, with the new data that we had been putting out there on the gut health, we applied for this award and we won. So it was really, really a confirmation of the benefits and the good science that we have to back those benefits behind Benicaros. So we are very proud of that.
Yeah, you should be. Congratulations. I love that when that press release came across my desk. It's great news. So more research to come, which we will continue to report on in Whole Foods Magazine as it becomes available. But just leave us with some final takeaways. If there's anything we didn't touch on, what else would you want our audience to know about the company, about the ingredient, before we wrap things up?
From my side, I can just say, and then I will give the floor to Sue, but from someone that doesn't come from this area of expertise, I'm really impressed with this ingredient. You know, I really believe, and I not believe for the sake of believing it, but you know, the evidence and the solid evidence is so crystal clear. And we just want to bring this ingredient as much as possible to consumers for them to benefit from the unique health benefits that it brings. So that is my last.
Excellent. All right, Sue, wrap us up. Give us your final takeaway.
It's almost the same message, I think, but then from the scientific perspective, understanding what sort of studies you could do to underpin how an ingredient works. The study that we did with the rhinovirus infection, even the principal investigator of that study was amazed at the good response that we saw, because it was a food ingredient in a model that is usually used for looking for medicines to help people that are really struggling with airway diseases. So it's the science is really strong, and looking forward to doing more research to hopefully support other health benefit areas.
Excellent. All right. Well, you guys keep sending us the information. We'll keep sharing it. And we really look forward to hearing what's to come, because it sounds like a lot of exciting things on the horizon. So thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.